Whoever overcomes lust overcomes the world. Think about that for a moment. Why would conquering one desire be equal to conquering the entire world? The answer is simple yet powerful, because lust is not just about physical craving. Lust is the symbol of every uncontrolled desire, every chain that drags a person away from their true potential. Look around you. How many people waste their strength chasing pleasure instead of building purpose? How many dreams die because someone was too distracted, too addicted, too enslaved to their impulses? Lust blinds the mind, weakens the spirit, and steals the energy that could have been used to create, to lead, to achieve greatness. A man or woman who cannot master their own desires will always be a slave, no matter how much money, fame, or power they have. But the opposite is also true. Whoever controls their desires, whoever has the discipline to rise above temptation, becomes unstoppable. Why? Because if you can rule over yourself, nothing in this world can rule over you. That is real freedom. That is real strength. Ask yourself, how many times have you lost focus because of distraction? How many hours have you wasted chasing what gives only a moment of pleasure but leaves you feeling empty? Lust promises satisfaction, but it delivers weakness. It feels like power in the moment, but it drains the very power you need to live fully. Now imagine a different life. Imagine being so strong that no temptation can pull you down. Imagine the clarity, the peace, the unshakable confidence of someone who is free. That is the life of those who overcome lust. They walk with discipline, they radiate strength, and they inspire respect without saying a single word. This is why the saying is true: whoever overcomes lust overcomes the world. Because lust is the root of weakness. If you cut the root, the whole tree of distraction falls. If you conquer yourself, you already hold the keys to conquering everything else. So here's the challenge. The greatest battle you will ever fight is not against the world, it is against yourself. And victory in this battle is the first step to true greatness. When most people hear the word lust, they think only of physical desire. But if you look deeper, lust is far bigger than that. Lust is hunger without control. It is obsession with pleasure. It is the constant craving for more, whether that is more attention, more validation, more wealth, more likes, more comfort. Lust is not just about the body. It is about the mind being addicted to instant gratification. Think about it. How often do we see people endlessly scrolling on their phones, unable to put them down? How often do we see men and women chasing shallow relationships just to feel wanted? How often do we see people sacrificing their long-term dreams just to taste short-term satisfaction? That is lust in action. It is a chain disguised as freedom. It looks like enjoyment, but it is actually slavery. Lust has one trick. It always promises happiness, but always leaves emptiness. For a moment, it feels powerful, but after, it leaves regret, weakness, and guilt. It consumes your energy and your focus. It turns strong men into distracted men, wise women into confused women, and the most dangerous part, lust never says, enough. It grows. It feeds on your willpower until you feel powerless against it. Great thinkers, leaders, and spiritual guides throughout history warned against this trap. They knew a simple truth. A person who cannot master their desire cannot master their destiny. Lust pulls the mind down to the lowest level, where discipline disappears and potential dies. That's why many people with great talent never achieve greatness, because lust stole their time, their focus, and their energy. But here's the good news. Lust can be conquered. It is not invincible. It only feels powerful when you feed it. The moment you stop giving it control, you realize it was never as strong as you thought. It was your weakness that made it look powerful. Ask yourself, what does lust really cost you? How many goals have you delayed? How many times have you felt drained and ashamed after giving in to impulse? And then ask, what would happen if all that wasted energy was redirected toward your passion, your purpose, your future? The answer is clear. You would rise, you would achieve, you would live as a master, not a slave. Overcoming lust does not mean rejecting life. It means living life with clarity. It means taking control of your desires instead of being controlled by them. It means using your strength to build something lasting instead of wasting it on emptiness. The truth is this: lust is not enjoyment, it is addiction, and addiction always ends in weakness. But self-control, discipline, and mastery always lead to power. Every time you resist lust, you grow stronger. Every time you conquer an impulse, your willpower sharpens. And the stronger your willpower, the closer you are to conquering the world. So remember this: lust is not just an external temptation, it is an internal enemy. And if you want to achieve greatness, you must first defeat the enemy within. If you look closely at the nature of lust, you will see something terrifying. Lust makes you a slave. A person who cannot say no to their desires is not free. No matter how rich, famous, or powerful they appear on the outside, they are chained. They are prisoners of their own impulses. Ask yourself honestly, how can you conquer the world if you cannot even conquer yourself? How can you claim to be strong if a small temptation can break your focus, steal your energy, and control your decisions? This is why lust is dangerous. It doesn't just distract you, it owns you. History has shown this truth again and again. Great empires have fallen, not only because of wars, but because leaders could not master their desires. Heroes have destroyed themselves, not because of lack of talent, but because lust consumed their willpower. The chains of lust are invisible, but they are stronger than iron. They wrap around the mind and heart until you forget what freedom even feels like. Weak people obey lust. Strong people command it. Weak people spend their lives reacting to desires. Strong people choose their desires wisely and direct them toward greatness. That is the difference between a slave and a master. The deception of lust is that it feels like power in the moment. You think you are enjoying freedom. You think you are in control. But the reality is the opposite. Lust is in control, and you are the servant. You run after it, you obey it, and you pay the price with your strength, your time, and your future. Think of all the hours people waste on addictions, chasing shallow pleasures, losing sleep, losing health, losing focus. These hours could have been invested in building skills, pursuing dreams, creating wealth, serving others. Instead, lust robs them of life. It is not pleasure, it is theft. But here lies the good news: slavery to lust is not permanent. You can break the chains. Every person has the power to rise above it. The first step is awareness, to admit that lust is not harmless entertainment, but a force that wants to own you. The second step is decision, the decision to no longer live as a slave. The third step is discipline, the daily fight to strengthen your will until you become unshakable. And here's the most inspiring part. Once you overcome lust, you do not just free yourself. You gain an unbreakable strength that spills into every area of your life. You become disciplined in your work, your relationships, your goals. You walk with confidence because you know no impulse can control you. People respect those who have conquered themselves because they radiate power without saying a word. So ask yourself today, are you the master of your desires or the slave of your impulses? Every choice you make moves you in one direction, toward freedom or toward slavery. The world bows to those who are free, but it will crush those who remain chained. Remember this truth: lust is slavery, but self-control is freedom. Break the chains and you will discover that you were always meant to rule your world, not be ruled by it. Self-control is not just a habit, it is not just discipline. Self-control is power. In fact, it is the greatest power a human being can ever have. Why? Because the person who controls himself cannot be controlled by anything else. Think of lust, like a raging fire. If left unchecked, it burns everything in its path: dreams, health, relationships, and even self-respect. But if you learn how to control fire, it becomes your greatest ally. It gives warmth, light, and energy. The same is true with desire. Uncontrolled, it destroys. Controlled, it fuels greatness. The strongest people in history were not those who had the biggest armies or the loudest voices. They were those who had the discipline to master themselves when no one was watching. They knew that real battles are not fought on battlefields, they are fought inside the mind. Ask yourself, how many times have you lost opportunities, not because you were weak, but because you were distracted? How many times have you promised yourself to stay focused, but then a temptation pulled you away? Every moment of lost self-control is a moment of lost power. But the opposite is also true. Every time you resist temptation, you become stronger. Every time you say no to lust, you say yes to greatness. Every act of self-control is like lifting a weight in the gym. It makes your willpower stronger, sharper, and more unstoppable. Here's the reality. Most people are defeated before they even start. Not because life is too hard, but because they cannot control their own impulses. They want success, but cannot control laziness. They want love, but cannot control lust. They want wealth, but cannot control spending. They want respect, but cannot control their ego. Without self-control, every other dream collapses. But with self-control, everything becomes possible. A disciplined mind can build wealth. A focused heart can build deep relationships. A strong will can turn impossible goals into reality. Self-control is the foundation of greatness. Without it, nothing stands. With it, nothing can be destroyed. Look at athletes, entrepreneurs, inventors, or spiritual leaders. The common thread among them is not luck, it is control. They knew how to direct their energy instead of wasting it. They mastered their desires instead of serving them. They transformed their inner chaos into order, and the world respected them for it. And here's a secret. Self-control is not about denying yourself life. It's about choosing the higher life. It's about rejecting cheap pleasures so you can embrace priceless victories. Lust gives you seconds of satisfaction, but steals years of growth. Self-control gives you years of strength for a lifetime of respect. So the next time you feel the pull of temptation, remember this. In that moment, you are standing at a crossroad. One road leads to slavery, weakness, and regret. The other leads to mastery, freedom, and greatness. The choice is yours. The truth is simple but unshakable. The one who conquers lust becomes powerful. The one who practices self-control becomes unstoppable. The world belongs to those who can rule themselves. And once you can rule yourself, there is no challenge, no obstacle, and no enemy that can defeat you. It is easy to speak about conquering lust, but the real question is how? How do we transform inspiring words into real victories? Because lust is not just a thought, it is a force that pushes, distracts, and pulls you away from your higher purpose. If we are going to defeat it, we must treat it as a battle. And like every battle, it requires strategy, weapons, and a warrior's mindset. The first step is awareness. Lust survives in the shadows of denial. It creeps into your habits quietly, until it becomes normal. You must learn to recognize it the moment it begins. Be brutally honest with yourself. Ask, what triggers these impulses in me? Is it what I watch the people I follow, the time I waste on endless scrolling, or the loneliness I try to escape? Once you see the pattern, once you can name the enemy, half of the fight is already won, because no enemy can be defeated while it remains invisible. The second step is redirection. Willpower is not only about saying no, it is also about saying yes to something higher. Lust is pure energy. If you try to suppress it without purpose, it will return stronger. But if you redirect it, you transform it. Instead of wasting it, use it. Go to the gym and build your body. Pick up a book and build your mind. Pour that energy into your craft, your business, or your art. Many of the world's greatest achievers turned the same fire of desire that could have destroyed them into the very fuel that built their empires. The choice is yours, destruction or creation. The third step is discipline. Without structure, the mind becomes weak. Lust attacks hardest when you are idle, bored, and unprepared. That is why you need daily habits that protect you like armor. Wake up early and win the morning. Train your body so your mind becomes sharp. Cut down the endless distractions of digital noise and replace them with focused learning. Surround yourself with people who are striving for strength instead of those who settle for weakness. A disciplined mind becomes a fortress where lust has no entry. The fourth and most powerful step is spiritual strength. Even the strongest human willpower can reach its limits. That is why you must connect with something greater than yourself. Prayer, meditation, and faith anchor your soul in purpose. When you see life as a mission, when you remember you are here to serve a higher calling, lust becomes small and meaningless. Why bow to a fleeting moment of pleasure when your destiny calls you to eternal greatness? This fight will not be easy. Lust does not fall in a single battle. It is a daily war. Some days you will stumble, but every time you rise again, you rise stronger. Every time you resist, you sharpen your sword. Every day of discipline adds another brick to the fortress of your strength. Progress is the goal, not perfection. And what is the reward of this fight? It is freedom. The chains fall away, your mind becomes clear, your heart becomes calm, and your will becomes unshakable. You walk with confidence, not because you shout it, but because you live it. Lust no longer owns you, and because of that, nothing can. That freedom flows into your work, your relationships, your health, and your future. You are no longer a slave, you are a master. And that mastery is the first step toward conquering the world. What does it really mean to be free? Many people think freedom is doing whatever you want, whenever you want. They call it living life. But look closer. Is that true freedom, or is it just another form of slavery? Because when a person is ruled by lust, they are not free at all. They are chained to their impulses, pulled left and right by every desire that rises inside them. Real freedom does not come from indulgence. Real freedom comes from mastery. When you overcome lust, you gain a freedom that few people will ever taste. It is the freedom of being untouchable. Imagine walking into any situation. No distraction, no temptation, no hidden weakness has power over you. You are calm, focused, and fearless. That is true freedom, the kind of power that cannot be bought with money or borrowed from status. It comes only from victory over yourself. Think about how different life looks once you break those chains. Your mind becomes sharper because it is no longer clouded by constant craving. Your energy, once wasted on empty pleasure, now fuels your dreams and ambitions. Your relationships deepen because you no longer look at people as objects of desire, but as souls to connect with. Your confidence grows because you know you are in control of yourself. This transformation is not about living a life of denial. It is about choosing a higher life. It is about saying, I am too valuable to waste my strength on weakness. When you choose discipline over indulgence, you are not losing anything. You are gaining everything. You gain peace, respect, clarity, focus, and most importantly, self-respect. And once you respect yourself, the world cannot help but respect you too. Think of the people who inspire you. They are not the ones who are controlled by their appetites. They are the ones who radiate mastery. They carry an aura of strength that makes others trust and follow them. They are proof that freedom is not about saying yes to every desire. It is about having the power to say no when it matters most. Freedom from lust also brings fearlessness. When you know that nothing can tempt you, nothing can enslave you, you walk with unshakable confidence. Opportunities no longer scare you. Setbacks no longer crush you. Even failure cannot defeat you because you are not controlled by external forces. You are free inside, and that makes you powerful outside. This is why the saying holds true. Whoever overcomes lust overcomes the world. Because the world will always try to seduce you, distract you, and control you with desires. But when those desires no longer rule you, the world loses its grip. You cannot be manipulated because you are already free. You cannot be broken because you are already whole. So ask yourself, what is freedom worth to you? Is it worth the battle against temptation? Is it worth the discipline, the struggle, and the sacrifice? The answer is yes. Because the reward of freedom is greater than any momentary pleasure lust could ever give. The reward is a life of power, a life of peace, a life where you no longer crawl in chains, but stand tall as a master of yourself. True freedom is not found in doing whatever you feel like. True freedom is found in ruling your own heart, your own mind, and your own body. That is the kind of freedom that changes everything. That is the kind of freedom that turns ordinary people into leaders, warriors, and legends. Whoever overcomes lust overcomes the world. These words are not just a statement, they are a challenge. They are a call to rise above weakness, to stop living as a prisoner of impulses, and to step into the strength that was always meant for you. Every great battle in history started with a decision, and the greatest battle of your life begins with the decision to master yourself. Think about the truth you've heard so far. Lust is not harmless. It is not pleasure. It is slavery. Disguised as freedom, it steals time, drains energy, and kills ambition. It weakens the strong, blinds the wise, and distracts the focused. If you remain under its control, you will never live fully, no matter what else you achieve. But if you conquer it, you win more than freedom. You win the world, because nothing outside of you will ever have the power to own you again. Now imagine your life after victory. Imagine waking up in the morning with clarity. No regrets, no shame weighing on your heart. Imagine your energy, once wasted on temptation, now driving you toward your dreams. Imagine people looking at you with respect because they see in you something rare: mastery, discipline, freedom. That is the life of a conqueror. That is the life of someone who has overcome lust. But here's the truth. This path is not easy. You will be tempted. You will be tested. Some days you will stumble, but every warrior knows strength is not built in comfort. Strength is built in battle, and every time you rise stronger. The scars of discipline are far more beautiful than the wounds of regret. And if you keep fighting day after day, you will break the chains completely. So the next time you feel the pull of lust, pause, breathe, and ask yourself, what am I choosing right now? Am I choosing slavery or freedom? Am I choosing weakness or strength? Am I wasting my energy on emptiness, or am I investing it in greatness? That single moment of awareness, that single choice, is where victory begins. Do not wait for tomorrow. Do not wait for the perfect moment. The battle is happening now, in this very moment, inside you, and every small victory today builds the foundation for the unshakable strength of tomorrow. The world does not belong to those who give in easily. It belongs to those who conquer themselves, those who rise above desire, those who choose discipline when everyone else chooses distraction. Remember this: your greatest argument, your greatest proof of strength, will never be in words. It will Be in the life you live. Let your actions speak so loudly that you never have to explain your values. Let your self-control radiate so strongly that others feel inspired to rise as well. Become the example that proves mastery is possible, freedom is possible, greatness is possible. And when your story is told, let it not be the story of someone who was controlled by weakness, but of someone who stood tall, fought bravely, and lived freely. Because the truth remains unshaken, whoever overcomes lust overcomes the world. And that victory is waiting for you, if only you have the courage to fight for it.